everybody, I'm Brian Elliott. Welcome to Facebook headquarters. We're here, I'm doing a takeover of the Entrepreneur Magazine Facebook page, and we are live at Facebook headquarters in Menlo Park. Is that where we are?
That's right.
Yeah. I'm here sitting with the Director of Product for Facebook Live, Daniel Danker. Daniel, welcome to the show, or welcome, thank you for having us, I should say.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. This is an amazing opportunity. This is, guys, I hope you appreciate this, that you're getting this inside glimpse at the mothership, if you will. This is, very special exclusive access, and we're so happy to be here at Facebook and all the hospitality. If you're just checking in on Facebook, we'd like to hear where you're checking in from. Like, so are you in the United States like we are, somewhere in Northern California? Are you in LA like where I'm from? Are you international? Make sure you leave us a comment below and let us know where you're watching from. I'm also curious whether you're watching this from your phone or on your computer somewhere. We're living in this mobile economy, and it's fun to, some people are maybe walking the streets in New York or somewhere in India, so I'd love to hear out where you guys are from. Daniel, I usually ask my guests, how did you get this job? This is like one of the funnest jobs on the planet, probably.
Well, I joined Facebook about a year ago. I've been working in video and media for quite some time, but there's no question about it. This is a bit of a dream job. It's been a real wild ride creating a product with a pretty incredible team at Facebook and trying to connect the world in a completely new way. And so it definitely ticks the dream job category, not gonna lie.
Live is becoming more and more important as people want to understand what's happening now. Break down a little bit. Let's kind of like do like a Facebook Live 101, and imagine you're talking to creators, to brands, to advertisers, to people who are really using Facebook Live on a regular basis. Kind of walk us through best practices and what we should be thinking about and knowing for Facebook Live.
Well, first, let's take a little step back and look at the history of how we even got here. We launched Facebook Live in August of 2015, and we essentially launched to celebrities and public figures. It was a new way for them to connect with their fans that we thought would be a lot more authentic than anything that was ever possible before. Live is essentially interactive. It's raw, it's real time, it's happening now. And so because of that, we thought it would be a cool new way for public figures to connect with fans. And it wasn't until a few months later that we opened it up to all pages and people to start going live in more everyday situations. Throughout 2016, we rolled out new kinds of capabilities that made it possible for people to connect in that more authentic way. Yeah. And so the resounding theme throughout last year and since we really launched has been that the very best way to use Live is to really take advantage of those experiences that feel authentic, that feel like they give people access to places they might not otherwise get to be.
Yeah, give us some examples of how people are using it, how you're seeing it today.
Well, we see everyone from everyday people like you and me going live and showing off moments that are important to them in their lives, all the way to somewhat more mundane moments, everyday kind of experiences that are just an opportunity for people to connect with friends. It's a new way to kind of experience community and friends that you might not otherwise get. So that's a real scenario for everyday people like you and me. But we also see public figures, talent, connecting with fans and even building fan bases on Live in ways that, because it's so authentic and raw, mean that their fans start feeling a real connection. So this comes from kind of emerging musicians to comedians to folks teaching you how to cook or do other kind of DIY type of experiences. And it's the connection with the audience that they keep bringing up. Yeah. So unlike recording a normal video, when you're live, the audience is right there, just like all of you are with us right now, and you can interact and respond and react in ways that make that experience different from what's otherwise possible.
Break down some of the best practices, like what should we be doing, how should we be filming, what don't we know about Facebook Live yet?
Well, some of it you're already doing. I can see it now, where you're throwing to the audience, getting an opportunity for people to interact, to ask us questions. So it's not like we're just recording a video, but doing it on live.
Yeah.
We're actually reacting to people and looking forward to that experience of knowing that the audience is right there with us. The other piece that I think has been really impressive to see over the last year is the idea that public figures, media companies are treating live differently because they're taking you behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They realize that it's not just the same as watching a video broadcast without reacting, but actually that phone can go anywhere.
Yeah.
And as a result, it should go everywhere, and you get an opportunity to see things.
Wait, are you saying that we're going to get to go anywhere in Facebook headquarters here?
This is all down to your imagination.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the web series that we've been producing called Behind the Brand, I mean, that kind of started with that premise, to kind of give you a behind the scenes or backstage pass kind of feel. And so live for us has really opened up all new possibilities, right? Because we don't have to bring a massive crew or set up tripods and lights and all that, we can literally just bring our phone and work through the API. It's just opened up so many other opportunities for storytelling and for access and exclusivity and even this intimacy, right, where you're talking with the audience. And even the way that we set these chairs is different than we normally do it. Normally we have it kind of crisscross, and this way we're sort of addressing you guys, talking to you live on Facebook. Hopefully you're psyched to be with us. Thanks for watching.
What you're really describing is what we see as democratizing video for
Yes.
mobile. It means that now anybody has the ability to go live, to connect with the world, and to do it in a way that is way more accessible than would have otherwise been possible. You don't need that camera crew. You don't need technologies that can be both expensive and hard for people to access. So it democratizes that experience, and we've seen it over and over. On New Year's Eve, millions of people went live at the same time. A whole bunch of my friends went live in different countries, and I was able to experience New Year's hour after hour as the time zones changed, and experience it through their eyes. And I would never have been able to do that. They might have posted photos, maybe even videos otherwise, but in this case I was able to celebrate with them in ways that would have been really hard to do. And similarly this weekend, when the Super Bowl happened, and of course people had amazing reactions to it, and we were able to experience those moments together.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's the thing with live, I think that's so unique and so special, is there are some events that you can only experience live. Super Bowl is a great example, or when Beyonce announced that she was having her next set of twins. I mean, those things, you're going to hear it after the fact, but if you can hear it live, it's so amazing, right? That you can sort of be in the same room.
Absolutely. And as a result, we tend to see some of the very biggest live videos that happen when big media companies go live or celebrities go live, and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people are watching at the same time.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of live broadcasts today are still coming from everyday people connecting with their friends and family and their communities about things that are important to them. And so it's important to remember that balance of how live is changing people's ability to connect.
So let's put filmmaker hats on for a second. If you're just joining us, welcome to this broadcast. I'm here, yes, live at the Facebook headquarters, the definitive Facebook headquarters up north. We are sitting with Director of Product for Facebook Live, Daniel Danker. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't left us a comment or question, please do. We'd like to know what you'd like to know. We're talking everything Facebook Live today, but also ask us your questions about best practices, or I'm about to ask you some filming techniques. What are some of the things that we should be thinking about when we're going to go live, in terms of the building blocks of great storytelling or even filmmaking on this little phone?
Well, some of the things are completely new in this format. For example, we know that most of our viewers right now are going to be watching on a mobile phone, probably on the road. And so even just how we bring together a shot changes. We go for tighter shots, recognizing that people are watching not on a very big screen, but probably while on the go. But some of the techniques really go back to the original days of broadcasting. So things like really telling people what they're going to experience, telling people about it in advance. We launched a feature for publishers not long ago called Scheduled Live, which lets you tell your audience about a live broadcast that you're going to do in advance.
Yeah.
And it's not just about scheduling it. What's powerful about it is that in the moments before the live video begins, people can join effectively a lobby where they can get together and start chatting about and having that social experience before the live video even begins.
So I have a question about that scheduling. So in terms of the algorithm, right? Like, so a lot's changed with how the algorithm works and how many people see or don't see your posts. We're starting to understand that more. How does that play into when you schedule something for a Facebook Live?
Mm-hmm. Well, the most important thing about it is being able to tap into the sense of community that people have.
Right.
When people identify topics or things that they're interested in, they share them. We see this every time. When someone announces a new show or a new video on Facebook, everybody starts tagging their friends into it to let their friends know. It's a very deliberate way of people tapping into their friend networks and communities.
But you know what? I think I want to underscore that because I think it's very subtle but important. I think people are forgetting to tag sometimes, and maybe they think it's somehow interruptive or like it's going to be spammy if they're tagging all their friends, but that's not the case.
Not at all, because it feels quite special when a friend says, this is actually something I think you are going to be interested in, and I want you to know about it. This extends well beyond that in terms of how we think about live. So one of the things that we're rolling out right now is the ability for you to go live with a friend at the same time. And so you're literally broadcasting together to your network of friends in your community.
That's very cool.
And so that means, of course, that you're tapping into your friends' social network and who they care about, and now you're really amplifying the experience, also making it a lot more fun for people.
So is it going to be like a Brady Bunch style window where there's a couple and then eventually there might be more?
Well, we've started with 2. And so you can go live with a friend. We see people doing it all the time. Kevin Hart the other day went live and brought one of his fans in. The look on his fan's face when they connected was magical. And I think he found it so much fun that when they finished, he just brought another fan in and kind of kept doing it. It was quite an amazing experience.
So on the user side, Kevin would have the permissions to opt in or get make someone on that side go live. Is that how it works?
Yeah, he invited one of the fans that was watching in, and the fan decided, yep, I'm in, let's do this, and they were broadcasting together.
That's awesome. Yeah. And then does he have the ability to kind of, close him out and go on to the next window?
That's exactly what he did. So when they moved on to another fan and another fan, I think he found it a little bit addictive.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love that. If you're just tuning in, I'm Brian Elliott. This is a takeover of the Entrepreneur Magazine Facebook page. We are indeed live here at Facebook headquarters, the mothership. This has been an amazing experience. And I have to tell you, I was a little bit intimidated coming here, but everyone here has been super nice, like relaxed, chill, like they've basically given us the run of the place, been super flexible. So maybe that's a good transition to talk a little bit about Facebook culture. If you haven't had a chance to ask a question yet, I'm here with Director of Product for Facebook Live, Daniel Danker. I'm Brian Elliott. You might recognize me from my web series, Behind the Brand. Be sure to check that out. You can see it on entrepreneur.com almost weekly with superstars like Daniel and other thought leaders, authors, athletes, celebrities, and people doing amazing things. Talk to me a little bit about the culture here. You've maybe worked other places, but break it down for us. You feel like the video group is different from the other people maybe who are writing code or doing other things?
Well, I think the most remarkable thing about working at Facebook, and most notable, probably most distinctive from any place I've ever worked before, is just that it's incredibly open. In many ways, the culture inside of Facebook really reflects the kind of values that we have for the product and the same guiding principles that drive what we make. And so it is rooted in community and a social experience internally at Facebook as much as the products that we're trying to make for people. It's a very open team. It's very collaborative. I find that working with other teams is really natural, and that's been really important for Live.
So it's not siloed. It's not like, don't look at what we're working on because There's none of that.
No, I don't notice any of that, and I think the reason is that we realized that in order to achieve what we're all trying to achieve, which is all really about connecting the world in new ways, that it really only works if we bring together all of the strengths that we have around the company. And so we work with all parts of Facebook to create the best experience we can. And that's been really remarkable since I joined. I've only been here a year, but in many ways it feels like I know more parts of Facebook than I ever expected to, just because of all the connective tissue around the various teams here.
You guys just had a birthday, you had a milestone, 13th year, right, just a couple of days ago. What was the atmosphere around that?
Yeah, we call it Friends Day, which is the moment where we connect and remember the fact that we've been around for 13 years, and so it really is a milestone. I think it's remarkable that it's only been 13 years because it's such a natural part of my lifestyle and so many of the people I know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have grown up and not known anything else but Facebook and some of the other extensions now that we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing. Were you guys involved in that video montage, that collage?
The live team, after telling you all about our collaboration, no, in fact, we weren't. We didn't really work on that. Although I think some of the other moments that we've really been focusing on connecting people have been really more cross-company and even than that. I think back to what we did around New Year's Eve and really trying to connect everybody in ways that took advantage of all parts of what Facebook does, and the result was amazing. Literally millions of people were live at the same time at the stroke of midnight, as the stroke of midnight happened around the world, and it was the biggest night for Facebook Live since we started. So it was a pretty incredible experience.
So switching gears a little bit, thinking like, there's a lot of brands on Facebook, a lot of marketers, advertisers, and they want to get their word out, or they want to build a community, or connect people. What kind of content are you seeing having the most success, aside from it's New Year's Eve, or it's the Super Bowl, or what tips and best practices can you advise?
Well, the most important thing about live, and this may sound obvious, is that it's happening now.
Yeah.
And so any content that really brings people into moments that they wouldn't have otherwise experienced and interacts with them as it's happening is really important and really works well on live. You mentioned community. I think that's a really important thing to highlight as well, which is that it's not just about the moments when the content is happening and people are connecting live. It's also about cultivating community outside of those moments. And we really see that with some of the most effective broadcasts and some of the publishers that are really taking advantage of the platform the best. It's not just about the moments that they're live, it's also how they engage their viewers, how they participate in groups that discuss the topics that they're interested in and they're publishing about. Those connections are so important, and they make the moments when you're live, they amplify those moments.
Yeah.
I think cultivating that community is going to end up being one of the most important distinctions between being live on Facebook and the kinds of things that we've been used to in a more traditional model like television.
Yeah. Talk to me about that amplification. So, if I'm a brand, if I'm a marketer, of course, I care about reach and frequency.
Sure.
And more, it's less about reach and frequency, and it's about engagement, right? So is it possible right now to boost a post or get that live broadcast out further? And if so, give us some suggestions about how to think of it, maybe either as a campaign or a one-time. How does
Absolutely.
that work?
Yeah, so it is possible, and you can amplify your live broadcasts in that way. Going back to the point about community, though, it's so much of the visibility that a broadcast or a live video gets comes from people sharing it.
Right.
And so it's almost best to take a step back and say, what makes people share it? And of course, that's quality of content and tapping into people's interests and passions.
Invite Kevin Hart to your live broadcast.
That's always a good technique.
Yeah.
But if Kevin's not available at a given moment, then really tapping into people's desire to share and connect with their own friends, which means motivating people to bring their friends in, share a video around a topic that people care about. And then going back to a point we made earlier, being able to let people know about something. Everybody is busy, so if you can schedule a live broadcast, tell people it's coming, then of course you start that experience of the sharing and the distribution that comes with it in advance.
Yeah. So maybe let's give that a little bit of a test. So Daniel told me that if we get a gazillion people watching this live broadcast, that he would personally walk me into Mark's office and we would have a thumb wrestle, right?
That's, I think you said a gazillion, so I can probably commit to that.
Yeah. So be sure, if you're watching, you're just tuning in, this is a live takeover Entrepreneur Magazine's Facebook page. We're live at Facebook headquarters at the mothership. Be sure to like this up, heart it up, share this broadcast so we can get more people in on this so I can have my thumb wrestle challenge with Mark. Hopefully he doesn't leave early today. We'll see. I'm here with Director of Product for Facebook Live, Daniel Danker. Be sure to leave us a question and comment. What do you want to know about Facebook Live? How are you using it? Are you a marketer? Do you have a brand? Do you have a service, a product? Are you a filmmaker? Are you a creator? What kinds of things are you filming and using to go live on Facebook? I would really like to know. We'll follow up after this broadcast and answer your questions and interact with you more. Let's get a little bit personal now and maybe talk more as Daniel and less as product director of, and let's do some heart-to-heart to some of these entrepreneurs. A lot of people who watch this broadcast, I'm sure, are entrepreneurs, and they're in the struggle, and the struggle is real, right guys? We're in it right there with you. Maybe give some advice to maybe 18, 19-year-old Daniel who's starting as a creator, creative content or a filmmaker, someone who wants to have an audience, build a community. What advice would you give her?
Well, I think it all starts with sense of purpose and what you're trying to achieve. I think we see creators all the time that really flourish online in general and on Facebook Live as well. Some of the core principles are the same, which is when there's a real sense of purpose, knowing your audience, really taking the time to connect with your audience, that's how these the network effects of people's success begin. And we see that pattern playing out over and over again. So I think everybody wants to go big and wants to do it as quickly as possible. When you look at the biggest stars in the world, normally they all have stories of perseverance and the time that it takes to achieve that.
Yeah.
But I think especially in today's world where you consider how people get discovered, it's really about taking the time to cultivate connection. And that's actually where you build your biggest fan base and you build those connections that end up kind of being the foundation for the future.
So what should we be measuring? So if it's not, how many people our broadcast reached, what other metrics can we use to justify? Let's say, I am a brand, maybe I'm the CMO and I've got to justify this use of time and maybe expense and going live on Facebook. What other metrics should I be looking at?
Well, one of the most prized possessions that we all have these days is time.
Yeah.
And I think that when people give us the gift of their time, that's a pretty important metric and measure of success. So more than just raw numbers, I think really seeing how much people's time they're willing to give you and spend with you, that's probably one of the most important determinants. And with that, it feels like it's more than just a connection, it's a really meaningful connection.
Yeah. Some of the buzz and stuff, words I hear just walking through the halls, I hear words like move fast and other things like that. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the failures you've had? A lot of people say failure is not an option, but really that's not true. You've got to have failure in order to have success. So what sort of things in the iterations have you gotten wrong in order to get it so right?
Well, the way we apply the philosophy on Facebook Live is really simple and really effective in many ways. I would have felt tremendous pressure a year ago trying to predict exactly what everybody was going to want to do with Facebook Live. That's an incredible amount of pressure to put on someone. Instead, we learn from the community. And when we opened Facebook Live up to celebrities and public figures initially, the response that we saw was great, but also we saw the real desire for us to open it to others. And as we've done that and opened it up to people, we've learned how they use it. So instead of thinking so much about failure, I think it's much more about taking the time to listen to your audience and listen to the community and be guided by them. And pretty much everything that we've launched or announced over the last year has been in response to what folks are saying when they use our products. The ability to go live with another person is in direct response to the fact that people are saying, actually, this would be even more fun if I was doing it with someone.
Yeah.
And how can you make that possible for us? And And the same is true of masks, which we launched not long ago, which make it possible to go live while wearing a mask, and they're really fun. We did it for the Super Bowl, and it is all essentially a response to what we're learning. So it's I think listening is crucial. Now with live, we learn to listen in a number of different ways. There's everyday people who are going live who have their set of things that they're interested in. There's creators and emerging talent that have a completely different set of needs, and there's big publishers that themselves have needs.
Yeah.
So we've learned to listen across all of those different angles.
Is there one particular thing you've been surprised to learn?
I think the most exciting piece in many ways is when we see folks who are not necessarily professionals getting involved in live and building very large audiences and really telling stories that wouldn't have been possible to tell before. And I don't think I could have predicted that.
Are you thinking down the stream a little bit about possible integration with other Facebook business units or Facebook properties or other things to, for example, if you look at some of these other social networks, you can create content and then put it there, for example. As a filmmaker, I would love to be able to export, for example. I'm shooting on an iPhone and it shoots 4K, but I'm not getting that 4K output after the fact. Are you guys thinking about stuff like that?
Well, we definitely want to continue improving the quality of what people see, make it feel like a better and better experience that way. So for sure, I think we're only in the very earliest stages of this, even though we talk about Facebook Live as if it's been around for a really long time and is super established. Actually, it's only been just over a year, and so we're in the very earliest parts of this story.
We always want more, right?
Of course. Some of the parts that excite me most about the future are finding ways to make going live more fun, more interactive, making it easier for people to get discovered, making the social experience an even more natural part of going live. And that's why I use the word community a lot. You've seen it in some of Mark's posts lately, and it's a big part of how we think about what we can bring to the world. So when you apply that kind of thinking to Facebook Live, it really causes us to try to find how people organize themselves into communities, what groups they tend to join, what topics those groups tend to be about, and really think about how to create a more natural connection between not just you and your friends, but also you and communities and groups of people who are interested in topics that you may be interested in that may or may not actually interest all of your friends, but maybe you found this group or subculture that you can connect with. So we want to connect those dots even more.
Yeah, I mean, for me as a user, I love the platform, I love the API, but just in my use case, I think that the live part is awesome, but even like the post live, I'm getting a ton of engagement and I'm able to share that. And so are you guys looking at that piece of it too, the after party?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we focused quite a lot in the middle of last year on making the experience of watching what was a live video just as good when you missed the moment and it's no longer live. So we do a bunch of things like replay the comments as they appeared when the video was live, so that you feel like you're experiencing that social layer in the same way as it was intended when the video was live. We also show you a little line afterwards when you fast forward and rewind through what was a live video to highlight for you the moments that got the greatest reaction, the most socially active or the most reactive moments in the live video. So really not only trying to recreate that live experience when the video is no longer live, but actually making it an even stronger experience by bringing together all of those social components.
And I think maybe there was some testing, I don't know if it's still moving forward or not, but it was kind of like a Saturday Night Live kind of thing where it was shot live in front of an audience. So you could shoot live in front of your audience and then bank it, record it, and then rebroadcast it as if it were live. Are you still working on that testing?
Probably the majority of feedback that we get from folks is that when they're watching something that has that live badge at the top, it really needs to be live content. And so I think as much as possible we want to focus on making what appears to be live really be live content, because that's when you get that real magical kind of authentic interaction that you can't replicate when something's no longer live.
You're right. It did feel, when I saw it once or twice in some of these bigger influencers feeds, felt a little bit like bait and switch, like, oh wait, this is not really live, but
Yeah,
it lured me in.
We certainly wouldn't want any content that misleads people into thinking that
Yeah.
it's live when it's not. And moreover, it's really the live experience that is the magical experience, where
Yeah.
you're interacting with people and interacting, as we're trying to do here, with your audience as it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, and as you say that, it's really remarkable. I think everyone who's watching should really just take a moment to appreciate what Daniel's talking about. I mean, this is an extremely gigantic ship, and yet it turns really fast. And so, like, you're talking to the guy who is the director of the product. I mean, he's going to listen to feedback, and we're talking here, and I'm sure maybe even after this interview, stuff's going to change. It moves fast. So, in kind of closing here, is there anything that you want to ask the Entrepreneur Magazine audience, like what they want to know about Facebook or feedback? Any questions for them?
Well, as always, and as you've pointed out here, we're here to listen, and that listening really guides our next steps. So I'll be really interested in reading the comments after this to find out what you guys would do with Facebook Live if you could steer it in any direction. What's missing, what's working well, those are the things that really drive us.